500 years ago, a man wrote a few lines of verse that should have been lost to time. His name was Nostradamus, and for centuries, people have called him the man who saw the future. Now, one of his prophecies is sending shivers down the spines of experts around the world, who'd in one of his old books. There's a sentence that suddenly feels chillingly relevant. It says, "The false trumpet hides madness. Byzantium will change its laws. A man shall come from Egypt and alter the coin in its value." For generations, this sounded like complete nonsense. Gibberish from a bygone era. Until now, imagine this. The year is 2025. The world feels different. It's like someone secretly pressed a global reset button. One morning, you wake up and your phone screen is black. The internet is down. Not just in your house, but everywhere. Global networks have collapsed. You try to check your bank account, but the app just shows an error message. The system is frozen. For the first time, humanity is about to learn a terrifying lesson. That our sense of ownership was only an illusion, a string of code in a machine. Panic sets in. People rush to ATMs, desperate to withdraw their money, but the machines are all offline. Displaying a single, ominous word, maintenance. A man tries to log into his social media account, hoping for answers, only to find that 10 years of photos, memories, and connections have simply vanished. A woman tries to access her digital ID to prove who she is, but the code that defined her identity no longer exists. Everything we thought we owned, our money, our memories, our very identities, is dissolving into digital static. The prophecy mentions a man from Egypt who will alter the coin and its value. In our modern world, what is the coin? Is it our physical currency? Or is it the digital information that truly holds value today? This prophecy, once dismissed as fantasy, now paints a terrifying picture of a world where everything we've built on a foundation of data could be wiped out in an instant. What happens when the digital world dies? We might be closer to finding out than we think. In a quiet archive, a researcher's hands tremble as he opens a book 5 centuries old. He reads a prophecy aloud, and each word seems to describe the chaos of our world today. Was this written centuries ago, or just yesterday? History, you see, has always been a story about ownership. It began when a farmer drew a line in the dirt and said, "This is mine." Over time, gold became paper money. Paper money became numbers on a screen. With each step, wealth became faster, lighter, and further from our grasp. Your money doesn't live in a vault. It lives on a server. Your memories aren't in an album. They're stored in a cloud. Your very identity is a password you don't truly own. We think we're free, but maybe we're just renting our own existence. Then came 2008. The great collapse of trust. When Lehman Brothers fell, it wasn't just a bank that failed. It was an idea. Millions lost everything overnight. For the first time, people looked up at the gods of finance and saw that the throne was empty. That very same year, a name appeared on a quiet internet forum, Satoshi Nakamoto. He published a simple 9-page document with a revolutionary question. What if we could build a system where no one needs to be trusted? And so, the chain began. Blocks of time, written not by men, but by mathematics. A system with no borders, no masters, and no forgiveness. It was the first revolution of faith being replaced by code. What no one noticed was that Nostradamus might have whispered this centuries ago. Byzantium will change its laws. Modern cryptography. There's a famous challenge called the Byzantine General's Problem, a puzzle about establishing trust between strangers. The prophecy found a new life, reborn in algorithms. Years passed, and technology evolved. The next mutation arrived. The tokenization of the real world. Gold, art, homes, even Bonzol converted into fragments of code. The world's assets were dissected and reborn on invisible ledgers. A $2 billion mansion no longer needed a single owner. It could be split into 100,000 digital shares. A castle once hidden in a vault could now flicker as light on 1,000 different screens. Suddenly, the prophecy's final line made chilling sense. Change the coin and its value. Imagine this. One morning in the near future, an engineer named Leo puts on a pair of lenses. The cracked walls of his small apartment dissolve. He's standing in sunlight, high above the Alps. His colleagues appear from every continent, floating in a shared digital space. They work with their hands, sculpting engines made of pure light. When the meeting ends, payment flows instantly into his digital wallet. That evening, he visits a virtual gallery and buys a painting that changes color with his mood. In seconds, it hangs on the wall of his digital home. Then, he takes off the lenses. The Alps vanish. He's back in his damp, old apartment, feeling tired. But he smiles. Because in that other world, everything he owns is truly his. This is the future we are walking into, quietly and blindly. A second life that, for many, might feel more real than the first. But while the giants of technology build this dream, others see a nightmare. If everything can be digitized, then erasing it all takes just a single command. When the system owns the code of your existence, who really owns you? That is the hidden terror behind the revolution. It promises total freedom while tightening its grip. And somewhere in that paradox, the old prophecy breathes again. The false trumpet hides madness. Nostradamus warned that madness doesn't come from chaos. It comes from the illusion of perfect control. When the world worships innovation and calls it salvation, the real storm gathers in silence. History moves in circles. Every rebirth of trust starts with a collapse of faith. Think of the tulip mania bubble, the dot-com dream, the global crash of 2008. Every generation builds its tower to the sky, and every generation watches it fall. This time, however, we're not just betting our money, we're betting reality itself. In a dark data center, rows of lights ignite. Thousands of machines hum like the heartbeat of a new god. Engineers watch as the code grows into more than just a network. It's becoming a civilization. They call it a decentralized order. No borders, no governance, no silence. A perfect freedom. Or a perfect prison. Every utopia begins with faith and ends with a price. Then, one night, the lights go out. 30. Global data centers fall offline at once. Billions of digital wallets freeze. Panic spreads faster than any virus. People flood the streets, shouting, "Give us back our money." News anchors whisper through static. The global chain has stopped. Recovery time. Unknown. In that moment of darkness, no one is talking about freedom. Everyone is searching for one thing: trust. Mid the blackout, a lone programmer named Eileen powers up a forgotten node. She types a single message, and it echoes across the fractured network. We must become the trust we lost. One by one, servers reboot. The chain restarts. From the ruins, a new order begins to rise. Humanity finally starts to understand. The prophecy was never a curse. It was a warning, disguised as salvation. The man from Egypt shall come. Egypt, the cradle of civilization, where the concept of ownership was first carved into stone. Now, humanity carves its story again, not on tablets of clay, but in lines of code. Once more, we ask the eternal question: who owns what? Dawn breaks. Leo puts on his lenses again. The city of light unfolds before him, where stars and street lamps merge into one horizon. He whispers to himself, Prophecy isn't about the future, it's about us. Far above, a beam of light cuts across the sky like a signature of destiny. The year is 2025. The trumpet sounds again. Byzantium has changed its law. The coin and its value are reborn. The world hasn't ended. It has only changed its master. Imagine waking up one day inside that digital world. Your memories, your wealth, your identity all perfectly preserved by code. You look back at the physical world and can't tell which one created the other. Did we build the machine, or did the machine rewrite us? In some forgotten library, a page turns by itself. On it, a final note that very few ever read. When mankind believes it has lost everything, it will rediscover its soul. The true revolution isn't technology's victory over us. It's our return to believe not in systems, not in gods, but in each other. Thanks for watching. If this story made you think, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. We've got a lot more to explore together. See you in the next one.